Hi guys, welcome back to another Scout the Defender YouTube video, and you may be realising that there's not actually a Defender in shot. Well, today I'd like to introduce you to a new project that's joining the channel. This is blue, it's a new Project 90 TD5, and I'm going to give you a full walk around of the new project. So let's jump right into it. So here it is guys, this is blue, the Project 90, and as I'd said on the channel, I'd been on the hunt for a project car for a little while, and this is the perfect kind of spec that I'm looking for to be able to build from. I spoke in a previous video that I was on the hunt for either a 300 TDI or a TD5, and that's because I wanted to experience a slightly different type of Land Rover ownership, and you can't get more pure than a TD5, so I'm really excited to have found this car. I'm going to walk you around all of the features that it's already got, and also give you a sneak peek of some of the plans that I've got to transform this. It's going to be a full project build, and I'm really excited to take you on the journey, and it's hopefully going to look very different to what it does today. So I'll start by giving you a walk around of the exterior, and then we'll have a look inside. So starting at the front of the car, you can see that it's already got a few modifications and upgrades. I purchased this car from Chris from ORE, who you'll have met before on the channel. He's put a lot of his kind of tasteful, really cool bits of kit on this car, as this was effectively a demo vehicle. It's got a light parts light bar, which I'm actually going to steal off Blue and actually put it onto Scout, which I'm excited to fit. And it's also got this cranked winch style bumper, similar to what I've got on Scout, with obviously the winch attached. I don't have a need for the winch, so I'm going to be removing that and fitting a more classic style bumper to be in keeping with kind of the vision that I've got for this truck. It's also got the light parts daylight running headlights. These are really cool, and obviously saved me the hassle of having to convert those, driving around with candle-esque headlights. So it's great that it's already got these bits of kit already fitted. And it's also got the Y-Pack conversion lights. So these are all LED, and they're white lights all the way around rather than the standard color lights. So really cool that it's already got a few of these pieces of kit already attached to the car. So as you can see, the car in general is in really good condition. There's a few bits that I'm going to tidy up. You can see the paintwork kind of all the way around needs a little bit of attention, especially around the bonnet hinges. The bonnet itself doesn't actually sit flat either, so I need to kind of have an investigate and see why that is the case. Also, let me know in the comments if you've got any thoughts of any of the things as I go around. The other thing I want to have a look at is the grille set and the light surround set. Give it a more classic look, as I have done on Scout. So have a think about what kind of upgrades I could do there, and if you've got any thoughts, leave a comment down below. So coming round to the side, you can see that it's got Cooper STT Pro tyres fitted. It's really cool to have a different set of tyres. Again, on Scout I just have the standard cross-continental tyres. These are much more kind of aggressive tyre, and I've also got some spacers to be able to space those out, because at the moment when I turn, they're actually scraping the arches, so they need to be brought out a little bit more. They're also kind of wrapping the standard boost alloy wheels, again something that I'd upgraded before, so I'm going to have a look at what we could maybe do to change those out. And again, as I start to reveal the vision of this car, you'll start to realise that perhaps some of these modifications aren't kind of in keeping with the plans that I've got. Other things to note, effectively some brand new Fire and Ice side steps. These look really cool. Again, something that I wanted to change out on Scout ages ago, just haven't got around to doing it yet, but they look really cool. And you can start to see that the rest of the car is in really good condition, a really good kind of base vehicle, both mechanically and I guess visually. So it's going to be really exciting to see what we can do with this car. The other thing I've not mentioned yet is the colour. This is Cairns blue, and I think it looks really good. Originally I wasn't so sure, but it's really started to grow on me as a colour. I'm still tempted to think about whether I do a respray for a different colour, so let me know, because obviously a lot of the paintwork needs addressing anyway. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, whether Cairns blue should stay or perhaps experiment with a slightly different colour. So coming round to the back of the car, you'll notice some more ORE upgrades. We've got the rear wheel carrier. I'm really stoked that that's already fitted. It's a product that I probably would have ended up buying anyway, regardless of what Defender I bought. And it's good to know that it's already been fitted and it's been taking the weight off the rear door. You can also see that the Y-Pack light pack is carried all the way around. So again, the clear lights rather than the coloured lights. And at the top, we've got light parts reverse lights. These are really cool because when you engage reverse, they effectively flood all of the light and do a much better job than the standard reverse light. So it's cool to have those fitted too. You'll see when I do some close-ups that there's a little bit more kind of bodywork attention needed here, especially where lights I think have been fitted in the past. There's some holes that have been filled that need to be kind of addressed and painted. So again, I'm wondering whether when I repaint the car, whether I should go for a total colour change. Right, so we'll have a little look inside the Defender now. The first thing I need to do almost straight away is fit a rear gas strut to the car door. That's because with the weight of the wheel, it just keeps closing in on me, so that's something else I need to solve straight away. Even when I'm working on the car, it's really frustrating at the moment. I'm propping it up with a broom handle. So obviously missing door cards, and inside it's effectively really kind of stripped back, quite different to Scout. So you can see there's no rear seating, no rear benches. It's obviously a standard utility car, so everything has been stripped out. Again, a lot of the paintwork needs to be addressed here. I'm going to again look to hopefully respray that in the future and make it kind of really clean bed. Stuff like the cappings as well for the door, they're just rusted out, so I need to address those. Those are really cheap, easy parts that can immediately start to lift the inside of the car. So that's going to be a bit more of a project inside. It's also still got its original bulkhead, and I've seen obviously a lot of people do the bulkhead removal kits. So again, something that I might explore to buy us a bit more space in the front of the car. But I do also like the divide between the front and the back, so a little bit torn there. But if you guys have had experience doing that work yourself, please let me know. Let me know how easy or difficult it is. I'd love to have a crack at it potentially, so just let me know. So moving inside, it's already cool to see that some upgrades that I would have done myself. The first thing, it's got a smaller steering wheel fitted to it. What's really cool about this is it's actually a lot smaller than the small wheel that I've fitted to Scout. It's much smaller, trimmed in leather. And it makes a real difference. I think it's quite cool with the 90 to have that even smaller steering wheel. It buys you even more space for your elbow, so that's really cool. The other thing is it's already got the Optimil quick release Boss fitted to it. So from a security perspective, I already feel a little bit more secure knowing that I can remove the steering wheel of an evening and park it up. So it's great to have a couple of these additions that I would have naturally gone away and fitted myself anyway. The rest of the cab is pretty much standard, which I really like. Again, it's a real contrast to the Puma that I'm used to. All of the dials feel a bit more analog, and in general it feels a bit more of an analog car to drive. I know that the Puma's by no means kind of a modern driving car, but it's really cool to kind of feel the difference. I'm really loving driving it. Interior, it's just got the standard kind of trimmed seats, which again actually quite comfortable, and I really just like the kind of old school feel in here. No kind of other real upgrades. It's got just a standard radio, but other than that, it's basically kind of bog standard. A lot of the cars that I had been looking at had got kind of switch panels cut in. I wanted a dash that's effectively original because this car, I just want to kind of celebrate the traditional kind of nature of the TD5, so it's really cool. One thing that has taken me a little bit longer to get used to is the gear change, and again, I know the Puma isn't a modern kind of driving car, but it's quite different kind of shift change to what I'm used to. This TD5 has a lot more kind of play in it naturally, and it's really kind of taken me a little while to get used to kind of driving this. But once you get going and pick up, it's really cool. It's already got a map on it as well, so Chris had taken this to Ian at IRB. He's obviously been looking after it from a mechanical perspective, which makes me feel a bit better. But also it's got a map on it, so it's a little bit pokier, it's a little bit quicker, which again, really cool. You feel the difference compared to some of the other TD5s that I've been test driving. So overall, I'm really happy with the inside. So that's just a quick introduction to the new Project 90 that's joining the channel. I'm really excited to document this journey. It's going to be a much more kind of thorough build than I've done on Scout, taking it kind of back and then building it back up, which I'm really excited to take you guys along on the journey. Please let me know if you've got any thoughts of other modifications that I could be considering, especially TD5 specific, because obviously I'm still used to the upgrades for the Puma. So if you've got any additions, I'd love to hear it. And I'll be back next week with another video where I'm going to start to tease exactly what I've got planned for this car, as well as starting to do some of the stripped down work. So I'll see you then.